This is blood for blood and by the gallons. This is the old days, man, the bad days, the all or nothing days. They're back. There's no choices left. And I'm ready for war.
Before I get into this video, I'd like to state that I have no personal issues with Sony, Microsoft, Valve, or Nintendo. What I do have issues with, and that will be discussed in this video, is the state of modern gaming and how large corporations seem to take advantage of the fact that they are doing well in the market. And if you don't like honest opinions and you're looking for corporate bullshit that be fed to you, then I suggest that you click off this video, because what I'm about to discuss is going to be in-depth, lengthy, and probably just coming off a little preachy. Now, if you're not into that and you don't want to hear that kind of stuff, then this is the time for you to click off the video. For those who remain, stay tuned. Now, today I want to discuss the topic of modern gaming and what we can do to take it back for us, the consumer, the gamers, the true gamers, the people that actually care about video games, the video game culture, and the industry as a whole. Now, I don't often talk about this subject anymore because I thought I was beating a dead horse. I think the last time I made a video about the video game industry as a whole was when I made a video, The Power of Pre-Order and Why It's Bad. And if you want to find that video, it's somewhere within the video library on this channel. But what I want to discuss is how big companies such as Sony, Microsoft, Valve, Nintendo, the basic bottom line is none of these brands actually care about you. It's not about us. It's not the times of video game companies, publishers, developers caring about their consumer base, the people that drive their company, the people that make them successful. Those times have come and gone. And if you want to debate me on this, you can look at the history that we've had within the last 10 years of modern gaming. We saw it a lot with the Xbox 360. We saw it a lot with the PlayStation 3. Games that would come out hyped up to no end by the publishers and developers. And lo and behold, once you get the game, you pay your $60 or you pre-order your game, and it doesn't work. It's broken on day one. Or there's 5 million patches that need to happen that takes 3 hours to download and install. That trend has not gone down. It has gotten higher. And the reason for that is us as the consumers, we see all these bad things happening within the gaming industry. And for the most part, a lot of us don't have anything to do to contribute to make things better. We actually hinder the market, and we give the publishers, the developers, the giant companies such as Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, Valve also, to keep doing these things to us. How many games have come out within the last year? A lot, right? How many games have come out in the last year that have been broken upon release? Or have been so hyped up with the millions of dollars pumped into its advertisements, the game comes out and it's completely opposite of what it was promised to be. 100 times. Over 100 times. This all sparks with what sparked me to make this video is all the stuff that's going on with Sony and not having mods available for Fallout 4 or the upcoming remaster of Skyrim. The reason for this, Sony doesn't want to do this, is because of security purposes. They don't want people getting too close to the internal memory of the game, the kernel, and changing things around. They don't want to promote that kind of thing. Now, Bethesda's gone on record and said that they're all for having mods for the PlayStation 4. Microsoft is doing it. And Sony's just like, oops, sorry, we don't want to do it now. We've changed our mind at the last second. We know you've already pre-ordered the game, maybe because you wanted these mods for Skyrim, because we promised we would have them. We're sorry that you might have bought Fallout 4 on a false pretense, thinking that you're going to get mods on a platform when you probably already owned it on either a PC or the Xbox. Who knows? I mean, those examples I'm sure exist of people that bought it for that reason. Now, people are, what I hear the most popular thing is people are booing Sony and praising Microsoft because they're the ones that are going to allow mods to be on these two games. What I want to discuss and what I want to cut through the bullshit. People are saying that this is because, Microsoft is caring more about the consumer. They're coming around. Everything's, they're trying to be consumer friendly, and Sony's not being consumer friendly. If you follow the trend of companies that make a lot of money, Sony has been leading in the console war against Xbox since the release of the new console. If you look back just only a few years ago, when these new consoles came out, Microsoft was everything but consumer friendly with the Xbox One. And that's just a fact. Having it always connected online, otherwise you wouldn't be able to play your games, not being able to resell your games or share them with friends, DRM up the ass. And Sony came in, saw an opportunity, and said, we're not going to do any of that. And that's why Sony got so much leverage as it did, at least in my opinion, with the new generation of consoles. Fast forward to today, Microsoft is losing a bunch of money. Sony has nothing really to worry about, well, at least up to the last few days or couple weeks. I mean, No Man's Sky was a complete disaster and is a perfect example of why modern gaming is suffering and has huge problems right now, is because publishers and developers promise things, they never come to fruition, but people bought the game, pre-ordered the game, gave them millions and hundreds of dollars before the game should have even been released. So, I mean, straight up lie about things that are in the game that aren't in the game upon release. That said, I mean, we're going straight Alien Colonial Marines, Randy Pitchford territory when we talk about that. But back to the consoles. Microsoft is everything but consumer friendly. Sony is everything but consumer friendly. Just because it may seem that they care about you right now, in reality they don't. If Microsoft were to just come in and sweep the competition and get right back up on that status where they were above everyone for a while, like they were with the Xbox 360, excluding the Wii. I'm not talking about the Wii, all right? I mean, that'd be opening up a whole new can of beans for me, is talking about the Wii. So the 360 was leading the market back in the last generation of consoles. But we also saw 360 doing a lot of things that were not consumer friendly, barely ever lowering the prices for digital games, giving us a lot of excuses of why their games were broken. Their exclusive games that had hundreds of thousands of dollars pumped into them. Now the roles are reversed. We see Microsoft trying to win back consumer money by giving us all these exclusive games that people have wanted, by doing all these things that are actually consumer friendly with Xbox on, Xbox Live and everything like that. But now you look at Sony, and Sony's doing the complete opposite road now. They have nothing to fear as of right now. So now you have PlayStation Plus, which is going up in price, which makes no sense because it's not worth $70. It's not worth $60. It's barely worth $50. I mean, the free games that you get online are crap most of the time, and the deals and discounts that you get should be games that are already discounted to begin with as digital content. I don't expect to pay a full $60 for Grand Theft Auto 5 at this point. I really don't. I don't know why the game is still at that price point digitally, but it is. Sure, sometimes there's sales on it, but most of the time it's either only $30 off or something like that. The game at this point is what, pushing 3 years old? 2013, I think, is when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out. That game should be like $10 to $15 at the most at this point of its life cycle. But you don't see that. And why? You'll get a lot of bullshit excuses from these companies of why these digital games never go down in price. But yet on the PC market, we see the Steam sales all the time. And I've seen Grand Theft Auto 5 on Steam go for low as $5 before. So someone's not telling the truth. Sony and Microsoft are guilty. But the thing is also with PC games, they are DRM. But I mean, if you're buying it digitally online with a console, same thing. You're not going to be able to trade that shit in. So, and here's another thing. Why, I want to talk about AAA games and how games don't get demos anymore. And I saw this with Resident Evil 7 that's coming out. Resident Evil 7 had a demo, but in order to play that demo, you had to have a PlayStation Plus account. What is that about? And I know there's going to be someone that watches this video and be like, why are you bitching about prices? Why are you bitching about that? That's, you must be a poor Mexican. I've seen that in comments on my videos. People think that I'm a poor Mexican person. And that's why I'm bitching about prices, because I guess apparently to that person, only Mexicans complain about spending money when they don't need to because it's a demo. So, yeah, a demo for a game where you have to pay extra money to the company that's publishing or allowing the game to be on their platform, a fee in order to play demos now. Lo and behold, of course, that's Sony. Now, I can't talk about if Microsoft had the same obligations, but if they did, that's bullshit. I can't see how a publisher or developer would be okay with being like, oh, our demo is going to get out, but it's only going to get out to a certain amount of people that have that extra paid account. You would think you'd want your demo out to the masses, regardless if they have a free account or a paid account or whatever. You think you just want your demo out there to increase the probability of making sales once the game launches. But of course, that's just not the popular consensus. I'm sure a lot of people, seeing that Resident Evil 7 demo was available to download with a PlayStation Plus account, went and just bought a PlayStation Plus account without even giving it a second thought, just so they could play a demo. And that is the problem. We're looking at people that are not taking into consideration that the more we give companies the power to screw us over demos, over timed releases, over DRM policies, over pre-orders that are absolutely bullshit, and then once you get the game's either broken or there's things that are missing from the game that were promised to be in the game, or going back to Metro 2023 or whatever the second Metro Last Light, having to pay an extra fee to get a difficulty level. Mortal Kombat X, having to pay for characters that were already in the game in every single installment for free. It just makes no sense. And the microtransactions that are just taking over everything with modern gaming, it seems like. We are looking at the most unfriendly consumer policies for almost every major game company, every major corporation, whether it be Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, or Valve. I mean, we are the consumers. We hold all the power when it comes to changing a company's policies or making them shift things to us the way we want it. I mean, that's how things work. the only reason, and you can quote me on this, I mean, people might disagree. Like I said, nothing personal against Microsoft. I mean, I have an Xbox 360. I haven't bought an Xbox One yet. I have PlayStation 4. I had the PlayStation 3. You know, I've had every single Nintendo console until the Wii came out because I just didn't care. And I have a computer with a Steam account with hundreds of games on it. It's not about being either pro company or pro console or whatever. You know, it's about the industry as a whole. And you look at Xbox, and the only reason the things changed for the Xbox One is because there was such an outrage of the policies that they were going to have. They would have changed nothing if everyone had stayed quiet. Same thing would happen today with Sony if people stay quiet about either, you know, having to pay for demos with a PlayStation Plus account, or not having the mods on games that you were promised on a certain console platform, and then having them taken away maybe a month before release, 2 weeks before release, whatever it may be, whatever the excuse is. The fact is that you were promised these things, but the company at the last minute wants to take them away and just waves their hands at you and says, oops, or oh well. These things won't change unless we as the consumers change these things. Of course, we haven't seen anything change with games being broken upon release for the most part, because people still pre-order games like crazy. They pre-order the shit out of games. You know, a perfect example for me personally, I went against my own policy just because, well, I didn't really go against my own rules, because when Fallout 4 was announced, you know, I've said before, I don't care if you pre-order a game if it comes with some sort of physical media, you know, a physical, you know, stuff that pre-orders for games should be. The Pip-Boy edition is a perfect example. I got a Pip-Boy with a case and the game, and I mean, the season pass bullshit and not getting the season pass for free was fucking retarded in my opinion, because it was like that for every other edition. But you know, I got a physical item with my pre-order. Lo and behold, Fallout 4 was completely opposite of any Fallout game that I liked. It was nothing like 3 or New Vegas. It was highly based on Call of Duty shooter tactics, and the story made jack shit no sense. I mean, your choices in the game had absolutely no weight on the effect of the world's outcome. There was no ending to the game, no real ending anyway. No matter what faction you chose, which is completely opposite, you have no real impact in the world. You're not either good or evil. It doesn't matter. In the end, it doesn't matter. Your choices don't matter in an RPG. So, because of that, you know, I was a little worried about Doom. I did not pre-order Doom. I bought Doom on release. And I like Doom. I mean, I don't know. That for me, that's the way I base things. If a game is not good and it's made by the same company, okay, let me restate that. If a game that I bought, pre-ordered, was not good, then the next time that publisher or developer comes out with a game, I will not be pre-ordering it, even if it's a different genre or a different franchise altogether. I still won't be pre-ordering it because of what happened with the last game. Now, if they win me back when the next game releases, then, oh, maybe I will if there's an actual physical product to come with the game. I don't know. There's got to be more people that are willing to look at gaming not through rose-tinted glasses, basically. You know, I'm all about for supporting these companies when they do actual good things for the consumer. Having games be broken upon release, having consoles that are instead of adding capabilities, taking things away, like with the PlayStation Pro, having a game come out that is promised to have certain capabilities, such as the modding capabilities, and sell people on that, and then take it away at the last minute is just, what is that showing you? It's showing you that modern gaming for the consumer is completely unfriendly. And the only way we're going to win that back is by showing these companies with your money, with your wallet, with your mouths, making videos, writing, I don't know if people write letters anymore, writing blogs, writing any kind of news and whatever, stating your opinion in a public way, so where people are going to read it, see it, and be educated upon, and be able to make decisions based on that, like I'm doing right now. That's the only way things get changed. What else can I talk about? Here's a perfect example. Also, with modern gaming, the big problems is we're looking at one of the biggest releases of this generation console have all been almost remastered games. Sure, there have been AAA titles that have come out and people have spent, good earned money on. Fallout 4 being a perfect example. Even though I didn't like it, it made a shit ton of money. Doom was good, but people kind of panned it in the story department. But again, we're talking about Doom, where, there's not much of a story to begin with. But the big releases are remasters. Yesterday, the BioShock collection came out, and everyone's writing about it like it's the greatest thing ever, and it's so good. I agree. I love the BioShock series. But we're talking about games that are, at least the first one, reaching almost a decade old. We're talking about games on the last generation consoles as if they were brand new. And all these companies are reviving all these old games because back then, at least BioShock, Fallout 3, things like that. The Batman Arkham bundle thing that's coming out with, Arkham City and Arkham Asylum next month or whatever, remastered. People are talking about those like if they're brand new games, but they're the same game, but people are super excited for them just because that's how good the games were. I can't imagine someone 10 years from now, 20 years from now, asking for a Destiny re-release, asking for a Fallout 4 re-release, asking for Doom re-release. People aren't going to be asking for those games in 20 years from now to be re-released. But I can almost guarantee you, people are still going to ask for Half-Life 2 re-released. People are still going to ask for Fallout 3 and New Vegas to be re-released over and over again. BioShock. All the games that actually had good stories, had good DLC, back before it was dislock content and paid wall content, back when you actually paid for a DLC story or campaign or something that actually added meat to the game that you wanted to play more. Not these Fallout 4 DLCs that have come out that have been just skeleton DLCs. Basically time wasters. Stories that have been almost rehashed from Fallout 3 and just given to you as cannon fodder. And because Bethesda at this point is just like, we made so much money on this game, who cares? Our actual main game had barely a story to begin with. Now our DLC, people are actually thinking we're going to release DLCs that are going to be story driven. It makes no sense for them to do that because we as the consumers have given them no reason to have to rethink the way that they're doing their game. There are people that'll shout from the mountaintops that Fallout 4 was the greatest in the series. There are people that when Fallout 4 first came out actually spoke their mind about how this game is drastically different and how it's not an RPG. It has bare bone minimum RPG elements to it, and were shouted down. People lost their jobs. I mean, that's what we're looking at in modern gaming. You can't tell the truth. You can't be honest if you want to have a career in either game journalism, you want a review copy for a game. People are just not going to do those sort of things anymore. You look at old video game magazines even. You look at old Game Informer magazines. You look at old Nintendo Power magazines. These magazines were very critical of games, gave honest reviews, gave criticism, whether it was good or bad. And you look at the game magazines of today, Nintendo Power has been defunct. Game Informer is still around, but majority of the magazine is 90% ad space and 10% game news. And most of the time, the game news is just talking about games that are coming out and praising them. I mean, I can't tell you how many copies of Nintendo or Game Informer that I have where a game actually got a good review when the game was crap. We have so much that needs to be fixed with modern gaming. And the only way it's going to happen is it starts with us, the consumers. We hold all the power. The only way we're going to make things change and get things to be better is voting with our wallets. Video game industry, as great as it is, as much as I love video games, I have been very much disenchanted by this last generation of console. This current console that we're living in right now, you know, there's nothing to be super excited over at this point. You know, last generation, you know, I had the Xbox 360, I had the PlayStation 3. You know, I loved both consoles. I loved a lot of the games that came out with it. There are things that were wrong with the generation before the one we're in right now. There were games that were broken. There was a lot of problems with the Xbox 360. I mean, I have friends that went through at least 4. Fortunately enough for me, I never went through any of those issues, but majority of people did. Same thing with the first run of PlayStation 3s, but the only way things change is us as the consumers need to change it. The companies aren't going to do it if they don't need to. They're going to cut corners as much as they can. They're going to release games whether they're broken or not. That's been a proven fact. They'll tell us things at press conferences and at conventions that games are going to be a certain way, and they're not. And the reason for this is because us, the consumers, do nothing about it, and we have a big problem with gaming journalism as a whole. I think that's been proven. That's been beaten with a dead horse, where I don't even need to talk about that anymore. But to close it all out, like I said, I have no personal, stake except for being a consumer of these products. I am a consumer of gaming. I love gaming, no matter what the platform is. There's no battle lines for me. I mean, that's all bullshit anyway. That's all started by giant corporations to get kids to buy a certain console, more numbers for a certain company. Basically, that's all what it is. So if people are still living by that fanboyism where it's like, oh, I'm a Sony person, or I'm a Microsoft person, or I'm a PC master race person, it's all bullshit. It doesn't matter. Either you love video games, you love gaming, you love the industry, or you're just a sheep following a company to the slaughterhouse, and that's about it. So anyway, guys, I don't know. There needs to be more of us that are willing to not pre-order a game, that are willing to speak out against broken games, broken consoles, anything that's wrong in the industry needs to be talked about. not just swept under the rug, not just waiting for the next patch, not waiting for the next DLC or the next installment of a game. You know, it needs to be done now. And if it's not, I'm going to be making another video, I'm sure, another 3 years from now, and things are going to be way worse than what they are right now. And I don't know what I'll be doing for gaming then. I'll probably still just be playing my NES and my PlayStation 2 and wishing for those days again. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button. Share your opinions with me in the comments section. And like I said, you hold all the power. Show these companies, you know, what needs to change. Anyways, have a good night.